What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam. Welcome back to another trailer reaction and breakdown and all the little things I noticed in Avatar Fire and Ash trailer that just got released. I didn't think James Cameron was going to release this onto the internet because at first it was only playing in theaters right before the Fantastic Four First Steps, and I saw it twice and I was like, ooh, what a good trailer. Although I think the Avatar Way of Water trailer hit me harder, especially after the 10-year time jump between the first one and the second one. The third movie looks dark, in Fire and Ash, and we get to meet, and see what these villains look like a little bit. And I believe her name is Va Rang, who's like the head of this darker tribe we'll meet. But let's jump right onto this trailer and see what we are noticing and just how beautiful this trailer is mostly, but jumping into the first section of this trailer, I believe we're in the Hallelujah Mountains and they're on the back of their Ikron and they're flying about, and yeah, very cute. This reminds me very much so of Jake Sully and Neytiri, but I think it's their son and his new little girlfriend.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
So beautiful. Just literally like one sentence. The strength of the ancestors lives here, and she's like pointing to his heart, and he like closes his eyes, and the Na'vi have this like glow in the dark little dots all over their faces, and this is like nighttime for them, and Bailey Bass plays his like girl. Fuck, I gotta rewatch Avatar and Avatar Way of Water. It's been about 2 years since I've seen it, and what is his name? Loak? Oh god, his kids, and like I'm still a Jake Sully and Neytiri for life type of people, but his kids, like through the second movie, it was such a heartbreaking story, but also a great story, and like, meeting this new tribe and how like they're the water people and they were the forest people, and how they kind of like weren't melding together well, but then his son, the same way Jake Sully adapted to the tree people, the Na'vi tribe so easily, he's now adapting to the Ometekai, water tribe very easily, and meets this girl just like Neytiri, and they kind of fall in love, and they're off and running, and he like is learning to hold his breath more underwater, and he got his whale Payakan, and in that clip at the very beginning of it, they're like soaring through the Hallelujah Mountains, and then he's on like one of the sea ilus or whatever they call them, and it seems like they're whipping by the crashed marine vessel that was at the end of the last movie, and maybe checking it out, or maybe just kind of like they made like a civilization under there somewhere or something, and then we see the little spirits of Awa bouncing, and we see young Sigourney Weaver's character, who obviously Sigourney Weaver's an older woman, but she's playing Kahari, something like that. They're made up alien names, so they're hard to pronounce, but when you haven't seen the movie recently, you don't remember them as well, but I know that that's Sigourney Weaver, and her character was all weird and crazy, and definitely going to be important going forward into the next movies and what's going on. But yeah, love to see Sigourney back, and the moon in the background, like this planet just so beautiful, and Pandora. I wonder if the Na'vi will ever leave Pandora, and maybe we'll get like a Na'vi on Earth story. Who knows? But from director James Cameron, on to the next portion of this trailer. So that's just a quick little shot there of the Nomad tribe, I believe is what they called them, the like air people, and I believe they like made whole houses and shit in the air, and they have like these jellyfish looking creatures like as their like hot air balloon type things, like these floating tribes, and then they have like this like alien stingray as like their mushing guide dog, or like, you know, whatever's pulling them forward. I don't know what James Cameron has planned for this next, you know, Avatar 3, and then he has 4 and 5 planned as well, but I didn't think he could top himself with Avatar: The Way of Water. And then I saw this and I'm like, I don't know what the story is here, but the visuals are so goddamn beautiful in like these new tribes. And like, how are you introducing new shit after all of the 4 hours or 6 hours of movie you've given us already? You're introducing new things on this planet that we haven't seen. Like, I'm fascinated. You know, now we're gonna go back to the air with this nomad tribe, but not necessarily the same way in the skies that he was before with like the tree tribe with the Ikran. You know, like, these aren't Ikran, this is different flying. And then we're meeting maybe a fire type tribe in the next version. So we met water, tree, air, fire. And we'll get a closer look at that tribe and maybe the volcano that they're living on or were wiped out by in the next portion of the trailer.
Live like this, baby, in hate.
Ooh, this December, you cannot live like this, baby, in hate. In so many sections of this trailer, like they're relying on strictly visuals and the score, and then they drop just one little line of dialogue. Like, this is a masterful teaser trailer where it's like a long trailer and it's showing so much, but it's telling so little that you're like, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm looking at such beautiful things that I need to see this, you know, like, fucking A. We see shots at the beginning there of a volcano and a man with a rucksack, you know, like a giant military bag, walking near that volcano. And it seems like it maybe just erupted, or is it erupting? And then we see like a full of ash civilization, maybe fire and ash, and this looks like maybe home tree. So maybe is this home tree that got burned down in the first movie, or is maybe this new tribe's home tree that was destroyed? Maybe by the volcano, so more like a natural, like, this earth took our home and now we're bad people, I don't know. Or maybe this is like the rest of the tribe that lives at Home Tree after it was destroyed by, you know, the people. Or by whatever, you know what I mean, the humans. Then we see a bunch of Na'vi trucking through the swamp, it looks like, and Loak seems very tired. We see a shot of Payakan and some other whales and the, you know, water tribe people, the Metakai, I believe that was their name, right? Loak with his girl, I believe that's Kate Winslet. Loak pushing his father and then walking away from him before Jake Sully looks at Neytiri and says,
"You cannot live like this, baby, in hate."
You cannot live like this in hate. So that's, I think, what this is going to be about. It's going to be Na'vi versus Na'vi, but it's going to be this hateful, dark, you know, fire tribe, and, you know, our heroes maybe giving into the hate. You know, some spoilers for Way of Water if you haven't seen it. You know, Jake Sully and Neytiri lost their eldest son, their firstborn, in the last movie. So maybe after that loss, you know, he seemed to have seen Loak a little bit more. In Spider, you know, he seemed to see a little bit more. But maybe Jake Sully, it seems like he's lost his peacemaker sense of, you know, self that he was, where he was trying to make sure it was all peaceful, no war. Now he's going back to the soldier, you know what I mean? Like, back to the Marine like he was originally, you know, and back to the warrior, and maybe he's going to be fighting, and you know, he doesn't seem very calm and peaceful, you know, and he's saying this to her, like, you can't let this hate take you over. Maybe it's, you know, what he should be telling himself. Maybe he's letting hate take him over for the loss of his son, you know, and he's got to forgive himself, even though, you know, how could you? You lost your best son, and it was kind of your fault, even though it was also kind of a fluke, you know, thing. But on to the next portion of this trailer where it says, "This December." Can't believe this is coming this year, only a few months away.
If there is something you can do, then you must do it.
Oh, oh my God! What a you don't know when to stop these trailers because there's not like a good line to stop it on, right? Like because there's only a couple of lines in this entire trailer. But I believe Kate Winslet character says to Sigourney Weaver's character, if there's something you can do, you must do it. So I don't know what she's referring to, but you know, something seems to be going very wrong here. But it starts with that man with the rucksack walking through the ash of maybe where that home tree burning down was, or you know, maybe wherever that volcano was. And then we see a shot of Jake Sully hugging Spider, and then we see a shot of Jake rushing to the front of these lines, and there's like a big fire burning in the background and a bunch of Na'vi standing here ready to fight with a bunch of spotlights pointed at them. And it looks like maybe the Quaritch is back with the humans and fighting, and maybe the humans are with the fire tribe and like the other Na'vi that maybe are bad people, I don't know. But that one big ass ship that was on the water last time was a big problem last time, right? And then that one big ship had dropped other small boats, that type of thing. So that one big water ship, there's now two of them that we can see, and they seem to have big old guns up on the top of them now. And then an even bigger ship seems to be in the background that we can only see just a little bit of, and that looks terrifying. And Quaritch seems to be back with his military goons, or maybe they, you know, cloned another version of him. So this is like another clone coming, just like from the second movie. All of a sudden he shows up, but this one seems to have like a little bit of damage on his face, so maybe this is the same one. But, you know, the next couple shots, you know, seem to me like maybe this could be a clone, and there's going to be two Quaritches, because there's a Quaritch, or you know, the military humans, but also the Na'vi versions walking up to Varang in the fire version, you know, the fire tribe or whatever, and she seems to have this big headdress with black and red, and like she walks out of her like hut and like, you know, walks out all fucking da-da-da, and like her hut seems to be made out of like a jaw of some creature or like something, because it seems like there's like teeth at the top of that entrance where she's walking out. And I was like, ooh, who is this lady? Like skinny mini, but she looks fucking badass, and she's got like red paint on her arms and red, you know, down the middle, and got this black and red headdress. Like, who is this actress? Like, who's playing Varang? And I believe it's the Queen of the North, Robb Stark's wife from Game of Thrones, right? Like, who gets killed the same time at the Red Wedding as Robb Stark. Spoiler for Game of Thrones, but that's a pretty big thing that happened in society. I think everybody was blown away by the Red Wedding. But yeah, I think that's who that is as an actress, is that woman who is Robb Stark's wife. But, you know, the bunch of the tribe members there, they seem to have like bones growing out of their nose, or maybe like that's like a artsy accessory. I don't know. And she seems to have some type of fire powers, because she's like picking fire out of a bowl and it's like on her fingers. So maybe this is inspired from Avatar, The Last Airbender, with the fire tribe, firebending. I don't know. At the very end of that clip, we see that probably fire tribe using arrows, just like we've seen them use before, the Na'vi people that is. But this time the arrows are flaming arrows, and they're in the middle of a friggin' forest shooting flaming arrows. So I don't know if that's the best idea. Maybe it's maybe that's their plan, is to burn down the forest with these flaming arrows. Or maybe the forest is too wet for that, but who knows? Maybe it's rainforest. And then at the end of that clip, Loak seems to defend Spider and his siblings, who are getting shot at with these flaming arrows with an actual gun. He's got an actual big old gun. And then on to the next portion of this trailer, and starts crazy.
The children. No, Spider. And we will find another way.
Oh, wow, bro, that score is giving me goosebumps. Like, it's such a powerful score, especially if you've seen the other movies and, like, you know which part of that score is hitting. Like, oh, there's, like, such, oh, God, wow, chills reminding me of the Avatar franchise and how much I love these two movies. But we see Neytiri, and she has like a hospital friggin', you know, thing that goes up the nose and around the ears, like an oxygen thing. And she's in the hospital. So what happened to Neytiri? And she's all worried about the children. She's like, the children! And, you know, then we cut to the children running away, and they're like trying to take care of a spider, and we see a shot from inside Spider's mask, and it seems like he's got maybe 55% oxygen left or something like that, or I don't know. It seems like maybe he's passed out or something, but it's crazy the shot we get through, you know, like it's his eyeballs looking through the glass of his like oxygen mask. So crazy, you know. And then we see a whole bunch of Na'vi, you know, Ikran and then military ships landing, and a bunch of cameras going off, and it looks like Jake Sully is being arrested. So what Sully turns himself in? Like, what happens here? Like, what the fuck? And then there seems to be an Ikran flying over this beautiful blue planet. Oh man. And then Neytiri says, we need to find another way. Find another way to do what? I don't know, man. And then we see right after she says that, Payakan, or maybe this is a different whale, but it looks like maybe Payakan got some blang. He's got like 2 nose rings on. I don't know. But he comes flying up out of the ocean, and he's ready to fight for them too. So this is going to be an air and water battle, because the very next shot is Neytiri and Jake Sully fully in their war garb, ready to go to battle, with a bunch of Ikran flying in the background. And then we see a shot of Varang on the back of her Ikran, and she's like telling people, fire, you know, like die, you know. Oh god, it's crazy. And then we see a shot of Zoe Saldana's Neytiri shooting off one of the fire tribe off of their back of their Ikran, and then it looks like Sully drops down onto this like rock, and maybe Spider without his mask is sliding off of this rock. So I thought humans couldn't breathe their air, so Spider, what happened here? Where's your mask? Maybe the mask will be put on later in VFX, and that's just like a mistake. Who knows? I don't know what happened there. And then as that's happening, we see Sigourney Weaver's character goes, oh no! And then like, so almost like she's witnessing Spider falling, or I think that's probably a different part, because it looks like that's in the jungle at night, and it doesn't look like there's anything burning. And then that part of the clip ends with Sully hugging Neytiri, and she's got like black paint all over her face, so maybe they lost another child or somebody, because they seem to be mourning very heavily here. So I don't know if I can handle this, James Cameron, you bastard. If you kill some of these children, we lost one last movie, if you kill another one, I will be pissed. Fucking pissed. Oh. Ooh, I'm just trying to imagine now who it is. Like, is it the young daughter? Is it because she wasn't old enough to like defend herself? Is it, you know, is she just sad that like they got taken or something? But I don't know. She seems like she's mourning here. Like they maybe lost another child. He's like consoling her. I don't know. Hopefully they just got taken and not dead. But ooh, if he kills another one of Jake Sully's children, I will be very upset. But on to the final portion of this trailer, which ends in such glorious fashion.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
Wow. Wow, oh wow, December 19th, baby. Let's fucking get it. Whew. I couldn't be more excited for this, James Cameron, you fucking bastard. And the very start of that clip starts with Quaritch, who looks like he has been initiated into this Fire Tribe's clan, because he's got a bunch of this red paint all over him now, and he's ready to fight. But he also still kind of has a little bit of his like military garb on, like a, you know, vest, like a bulletproof vest type of thing. And he is fighting Jake Sully with fire in the background. It looks like maybe this massive ship is falling or maybe rising. I don't know. But then we cut to a shot of Loak, and he's like looking down the barrel of a gun, and he seems all pissed. So maybe he's trying to line up a shot on Quaritch, or maybe he's witnessing something happening here and he's all mad. But then we see a shot of Neytiri across from Varang, who seems to have like this flamethrower And, you know, she's like, you know, like, I'm gonna shoot you, bitch. And then it cuts to, you know, a shot of Sigourney Weaver's character maybe being restrained, and Bahrain telling her, your goddess has no dominion here. And I just want to hear the line again.
Your goddess has no dominion here.
Ooh, oh, it's such a dark line and a perfect delivery. And then it cuts to Avatar, the logo, on fire, and then it says Avatar Fire and Ash before the A of the Avatar logo burns out into embers in ash. And you're like, oh wow, fuck. Like, fire is one thing, right? The fire tribe, whatever, but what does fire do, right? Like, fire kills everything it touches. It gets into it, it ignites it, it burns it, and then turns it into literal nothing but ash, you know, and just this sooty. And what is ash? It's just like this sooty, you know, leftovers of what was once something but has now been burned down into smithereens, you know, like, oof. And she's like, your goddess, meaning Awa, has no dominion here. So maybe this dark clan of fire tribe, maybe they worship, like, if Awa is God, what is the Navi's devil? Iwa? I don't know. Awa or Iwa, make your choice correctly and make sure you know your vowels. I don't know. Fuck it, I don't know. But I want to see more. I don't know about y'all. I want to see more. I gotta know if Bahrain is going to kill Kahiri or Kahati or Took or Loak or whatever the kids' names are. Maybe Spider. Skeleton. No, Spider. Wow, what a trailer. And it looks great in theaters. I mean, some people I kept seeing like, I'm so glad I got to see this in theaters because it looks terrible on my phone. I mean, I watched it again yesterday on my phone. It still looks phenomenal. I'm watching it now on my computer screen. It still looks fucking phenomenal. I don't know what people are mad about. Sure, it looks the best in theaters, but doesn't all movies look best in theaters when they're blown up this big? Like, I don't know. But Avatar Fire and Ash coming this December, and I believe this is just a teaser trailer, so I'm sure we'll get a more in-depth trailer when that movie comes about. But through the 3 movies, what is your favorite movie? Well, we haven't seen the 3rd one yet, but what's your favorite trailer for these movies? For me, it's still the initial trailer, because there was a couple of Way of Water trailers, but the initial teaser trailer that they released after 12 years or whatever it was, 10 years after the first movie, that initial trailer and the soundtrack to it lives in my soul rent-free. And if you're also like me, I'd love to hear that down below. But comment your thoughts, or maybe you want to talk more Avatar, Fire and Ash, or Way of Water, or maybe Avatar 1. If you want to chat more Avatar with me, comment below, or my other social medias down in the description down below. Follow my Letterboxd if you want to check out all my movie reviews I've done this year. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you've made it this far and you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you don't already. And about 96% of people are not subscribed, and that goes a long way to help the channel grow. Thank you so much for coming on by. If you want to hit that bell, that's a great way to make sure you don't miss future videos when they drop. And once again, my name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!